for a long time, I would do certain projects, but I would never finish them. I think that's that case for a lot of people. It's like you have this drive to start something, and then you don't know how to end it. You don't know how to execute.
Life isn't easy, and it shouldn't be. And if you don't learn to struggle, you won't be able to deal with failure. I'm 40 years old now, and I'm hungry as I've ever been.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
What's up? It's Evan. My one word is believe, and I believe in you. I believe you have an amazing gift inside you that I want to see exploded onto the world. So let's get your motivation to a 10 and get you believing in you. Grab a snack and chew on today's lessons from a man who went from being bullied for being Asian American growing up to launching underground parties, creating his own record label at age 20, and being one of the most successful EDM musicians of all time. He's Steve Aoki, and here's my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. All right, let's kick things off with rule number 1, my personal favorite: focus on creativity.
Even to this day, 2018, it's always been about creativity. It's never been about money. I mean, at the end of the day, of course, I am thinking business now because I'm at a larger scale and I have to think about the business. But if I put the money before the creativity, then the authenticity like almost gets blocked, you know? So I have to really, because my business is all about authentically being creative. That's my business. It's like I want to be authentically creative and share that experience. Because at the end of the day, whatever I do is about I am making creations, whether it's product, fashion, this is not mine, but like fashion to music to a live experience. I'm creating something that I'm sharing with you. Now, if I'm like, I need money first before you even see this, you know, if I start thinking like that, then I'm gonna lose that kind of the
edge
spirit
of yours.
of it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know, like it's, you know, money will come. And I've realized that. And in some cases, money doesn't come. And I'm okay with that. And I have to go back to that and go like, this isn't about money. This is about the love of what I do. And sometimes you have to stop and think about that. And as a businessman, you know, you have to like just take a step back and go like, this isn't about dollars and cents. This is more about just the pure love of creating and sharing your art.
Rule number 2, execute.
I'm a project-oriented person, and so whenever I attack something, I attack it, you know, singularly, but also with multiple teams. So obviously I can't do all this I'm doing alone, you know. Right. But I need to focus on one project at a time and see a beginning and an end. I think for the most part, for a long time I would do certain projects, but I would never finish them. I think that's that case for a lot of people. It's like you have this drive to start something, and then you don't know how to end it. You don't know how to execute, and you're afraid of the product. You're afraid how you're going to be perceived, and it's about overcoming that fear too. You know, it's like it's hard. I actually like to instill this execution part of starting and ending a project with my team.
Rule number 3, learn how to struggle.
Life isn't easy, and it shouldn't be. And if you don't learn to struggle, you won't be able to deal with failure and deal with things that are gonna happen. And I've hit the pavement and scraped the side of my face 10,000 times, and like the only person that, you know, I could pick myself up was me. And so if I didn't learn how to do that, I don't think I would have a business for 19 years with Dim Mak Records. You know, finally being a successful, self-sustaining business, or deal with this very, very grueling schedule, which I absolutely love. And it's not like no one's putting me in it. Like when I do 250 or 300 shows a year as a DJ, it's because I want to be in it, and I'm not complaining. You know, no matter how tired I am, the last thing I want to do is complain. And that's the one thing I've learned is that, you know, if you figure it out yourself and how to get there, you will you will, you'll understand the glory of like all the good stuff that's coming your way. You'll take the value and really cherish it.
Rule number 4, be hungry.
Hunger doesn't also just come with the youth. I'm 40 years old now, and I'm hungry as I've ever been.
Seriously?
Yeah, still.
Tell me why.
Because like I look at like all the things that I still need to do, and there's still so much more. So as if I'm starting from zero again.
So that hunger's still there. That fire's still in the belly.
And the more I travel, the more I learn that I know very little about the world, and I become, hungry to become that student and embrace and absorb culture and absorb and learn that I need to educate on all these things, and it's all gonna reverberate into my business, whatever my business might be, because the way I am as a person, I think this is also part of my success, is that the minute I feel something that's like really powerful, inspirational to me, the minute I feel that way, I'm immediately going into my head, and how can I construct this in a way to share it with the world? And I share that feeling in different mediums, through music, through fashion, through the live experience, through different products, through whatever it might be, that all come from this abundant amount of inspiration. And I can only get that by being around people, connecting with people, seeing different things that just like enlighten me. And then, like I said, it goes right back to me.
You see it?
Yeah, me going, I still got so much more to go, and it drives me. It drives me, and it keeps me hungry.
Rule number 5, work hard.
You toured the most out of any DJ on our list in the last year. Something like 300 shows in 2012. How do you do that?
What I do in Europe is we do a private jet through the whole tour, and we knock out 2 shows a day. So you really survive on 3-hour sleeps at the most, to like 20-minute cat naps from like when you get in the car. I just literally just have my eye mask in my pocket, ready to go. I'm prepared. I put it on, I'm just like, and they're like, yo, you're here on stage. I'm like, okay. I like meet up with a trainer like whenever I have an hour, and I work out with them, so it keeps my like blood pumping and my body in shape. So, because my show is physical, and I've gotten hurt. So from those lessons, I've learned to just take care of myself, eat healthy. I actually don't do any drugs, and I don't drink, and I don't smoke. So like there's a lot of things in my lifestyle have changed where it's better for me as a human being. I'm happier, and I can work with a clear head, and I can work, with, I have maximum potential at every show.
Rule number 6, trust your gut.
Well, at the end of the day, if you really break it down, it's all based on passion. It's all based on how you feel. I don't want to get involved into anything unless I am, emotionally committed and connected to the project. I trust my gut. I trust like how I feel about something. So, if you ask my business manager how I do my investing, he'll tell you that it's like lopsided. I take bigger risks with the bulk of my money, instead of like putting my money in like very conservative places. I'm like, well, I like never seen this much money before in my life, and I made it all myself. So the best part about it for me is I can make the decision of where it goes. Sometimes it might not be the wisest decision, but I made that money, so I have every right to do with it, to wherever way I would choose. So that's another thing about the idea of working for yourself and actually making your own money. You're not owing anyone anything but you. So that way, so for me, if I am going to invest my money and my time into these projects, I have to be 100% certain that I'm so emotionally engaged and a part of the project that if it fails, it's still, it doesn't matter to me, because I feel validity with the amount of time and investment that I put into it.
Rule number 7, find your passion.
I think one thing I learned, especially when I was in high school, and I've said this before many times, is the hardcore music scene that I got introduced to, that became my life, that became my lifestyle, to the every decision that I made was all based on the fundamentals of this hardcore scene. Even the food I ate, I became vegetarian because that's what they did. They were talking about animal rights, and I got into that.
Right.
And it was all really based on passion and community. It's like you have to be really into what you're saying and doing, and be educated on what you're saying and doing, and learn some instruments and play the music. And play the music of that culture. Essentially, you're an ambassador of the culture, and the way you get respect in that culture is by finishing your projects, whether it's a song, whether it's playing a show, whether it's putting on a show for other bands, so that scene can prosper and there's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
So it's all about making the ecosystem of that community healthy. And the more you do that, the more that you're able to make it healthy, the more respect you get. So it's not about, I just walked in with like the shoes that no one else has or the bike that everybody wants. The more of that element that you bring to the table, the less cool you are.
Right.
Like you're cooler if you actually go, I'm vegetarian. I stopped wearing leather shoes. You made a stance. You made
Right.
something that's like a sacrifice. Or I'm putting on a show and all these bands are coming in. Wow, you put on the show. That's awesome. I started a band and I'm playing and I'm representing the sound. Or I made a zine. I interviewed 4 bands and I went to Kinko's and I made a zine. I'm passing them out to all the different people. It's almost like a religion in a way where you're spreading that goodwill. And it's not about a financial reward as well. It's like there is no financial reward in what I'm talking about here. It's all about believing in a culture and being rewarded by spreading that culture and building that healthy ecosystem of that culture. So in essence, that culture doesn't have to be music. That culture could be in a book club,
right.
or in a chess club, or in something that's like drives you. Because, another thing is, as well as I talk to some people, they're like, I don't know what my passions are. And I talked to Tom Bilyeu from Inside Quest about like, how do you find your passion? Like what gets you there, if you don't know what it is. And you just have to keep trying stuff and see what pulls you, what's pulling you to a certain place.
Rule number 8, have heroes.
I mean, Bruce Lee was a huge childhood hero running through, like a childhood theme hero running through my adolescence. Just because Bruce Lee, he was loved by all communities. Like there's plenty of Asian people that are in pop culture that are just loved by the Asian community. But he was one of the only ones that was globally loved by everyone. So I always looked up to that kind of idea that like that us Asians have the capacity to actually be part of popular culture and influence not outside, not just our own culture.
Rule number 9, do something different.
You do gimmicky things, right?
Yeah, so...
Like, throwing things.
Right.
How did that come about?
Well, in 2000, like I was saying, in 2007, my first time playing Coachella was a really big platform for me. And then I got to play Coachella 2 years later. And by that time, I was thinking, well, I'm playing in front of a big audience. I want to do something other than just staying behind the DJ booth. I want to bring some entertainment to the show. And that's when I first introduced the raft to the show, where I bring a raft out and I jump in it, or friends jump in it, or a crowd jumps in it, and they raft over the crowd. And then 2 years later, my show evolved, and I was like, okay, we got to do something new. So I introduced the idea of caking someone in the face to the show.
Someone in the audience?
Yep.
Just throw a cake at them.
Throw a cake, right in their face.
And that doesn't sound, why is that enjoyable? Well, I guess it's enjoyable.
I mean, yeah, it's like...
How do you pick the person you hit with the cake?
I only cake people that are screaming for it.
Oh, they want to be caked?
Oh, yeah. Anyone that gets ambush caked would probably be upset
ticked,
with you, right? So I wouldn't do that. It's like the whole point is to excite people.
Years ago, Soupy Sales used to throw pies in people's face, and people wanted. Frank Sinatra went on his show to get hit with a pie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I would
people
love to
want
see
to
that.
get hit with the cake?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is have fun.
I just got cake from Ron. Nice sweat from the back of the head, and then we just turned into a full-on cake fest.
Now, I've got 3 very special bonus clips from Steve on how to be present, engage your audience, and follow your dreams. But before that, I want to know, what did you learn from Steve today? What was the single most important lesson you were going to apply to your life or to your business? Leave it in the comments below. When you write it down, you're much more likely to actually do it because you're making a commitment. So leave in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself, and whatever your one word is, much love. I'll see you soon, and enjoy the bonus clips.
When you were growing up, did you think you would be in this position? Did you visualize yourself in front of 10s, 20s, 50,000 people at
Absolutely
a time?
not.
You didn't think about it?
There's no visualization of it's not like The Secret where I'm like, this will happen, I will make it happen. I never even imagined a scenario bigger than 10, 20, 30, 40
than your
people.
living room.
Yeah, it's also, I think there's nothing wrong with imagining and saying, I'm going to be there, I'm going to be a billionaire, I'm going to be influential in my field, I'm going to, there's nothing wrong with that. And like, I agree whenever I read about different entrepreneurs and they talk about, their tips is to like imagine that, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's also a balance of being pragmatic as being realistic and also not forgetting about what's in front of you. Because like the thing is that, you could be thinking about this grand scale and forget that the 5 people that are in front of you are there because they love to be a part of that. And if you're not connected to them, they won't be as connected to you and why they came in the first place. So that's why there's times where I'll play a show and I feel the sense of disconnect because there's a lot of people just kind of aloof or not necessarily on drugs, but they're just not present. They're not present. And then I become not present. And then the people that are present, they don't become present. And all of a sudden, it's a lose-lose for everyone. So I can't look at these like, let's say you have a tremendous show and you're like, oh, that show was great. All shows aren't going to be great. And the shows that aren't great, you have to actually get more into the show. And that goes back to the very, very beginning of the question you asked. That's another thing that's important to remember is the beginning. And like those 5 people, those 10 people, or it could be those 5 or 10 people in the crowd while everyone like there's like a, where it's not such a great show. Right. Just focus on the people that care.
What makes a good DJ?
What makes a good DJ? Like even from day one to where I am at now, the most important thing is how you connect with the audience. Because you have to, you're having this conversation, you're playing music. And
they don't speak a lot though, or do they speak a lot?
Well, the music is speaking.
Right.
That's how I see it. It's like more.
The DJ doesn't talk.
It's more hype.
Right.
It's like you want to get the crowd hyped, but really the music is the conversation.
So it's how you balance the music? Yeah,
it's how you get everyone interacting with your music. And if you're able to keep their focus and attention on what you're doing, that's to me is what really, if you can really engage the audience and make them remember your show, then I feel like that makes a good DJ.
You're doing Madison Square Garden, right?
Yes.
In August. I mean, damn, have you done the Garden before?
Oh, no.
Muhammad Ali fought in the Garden. You know what I mean? Like, Jay-Z sells out the Garden,
Yeah, no, trust me, this is...
Madonna, Gaga, Liza Minnelli. And now Steve Aoki.
Yeah, this is the dream that I never thought would have ever happened. The impossible, literally the impossible happened. I mean, it's especially for the electronic dance community, we don't get the opportunity. Mm-hmm. We never think that's actually something that would be in our trajectory at all.
Yeah.
So, to get to that place, I automatically just
bow down to all the fans that are putting me there, you know, that are buying hard tickets and that have bought hard tickets to allow me to play in the most prestigious place in the world.
Yeah.
Raise your standard.
Apple, at the core, its core value is that we believe that people with passion can change the world for the better.
Not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me.
I don't ever give up. I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
Hey Believe Nation, if you want to see my all-time favorite top 10 rules of success, I have a very special secret video for you. These are the individual clips that I have personally learned the most from and applied to my life and my business. Check the link in the description for details.